farmer in Miaoli donated his entire hawthorn harvest to help Tzu Chi fund COVID vaccines. A child with acute leukemia recovers after receiving a stem cell transplant at the age of 7. I'm Sean Scanlon. This is DaAi Headlines. Let's get started. A volunteer from Miaoli donated the harvest from his hawthorn garden of almost 6,000 square meters to raise vaccine funds. With the help of other volunteers, they harvested for 3 hours. Afterwards, volunteers had to clean, slice, and dry the fruits. Everyone contributed their efforts, hoping that the pandemic would end soon. Take a look.
At 6 o'clock in the morning around dawn, volunteers already arrived at the hawthorn garden. The hawthorn garden, of almost 6,000 square meters, is full of hawthorn fruits. The agile volunteers have picked a whole bag of fruits within a short period of time.
I have a lot to learn today, like respecting Mother Nature to sow blessings for the world.
I'm really happy to be here today. We are here for the vaccines. Everyone should give a little to benefit others.
He is Huang Renrang, the owner of the hawthorn garden. He donated hawthorn fruits for vaccine funds.
It's a precious opportunity for me to contribute to the vaccine funds during the pandemic.
It took 3 hours to complete the harvest. There were many steps to follow.
Because they need sunshine, if overlapped, it's not easy to get dry.
The hawthorn slices were arranged neatly. Each of them contains volunteers' love to safeguard the health of everyone.
Tzu Chi Foundation started promoting home safety for the elderly in 2020, motivating various village chiefs to care for solitary elders. Project leader Chen Zhiming is 39 years old. As a supervisor, the enthusiasm in his heart seems to be inexhaustible. Let's meet this enthusiastic gentleman together.
刚刚有带妈妈先量一下那个她适合的高度，她是左手有力的，对，她这样走过去，在长者居家安全改善。
In the Home Safety Improvement Project for the elderly, we focus on relatively large service items, that is, installation of safety handrails and anti-slip measures. To promote this project, we have inevitably encountered some difficulties or different opinions. We have to accept it.
就是接受它。 那我是在2007年的6月。
I assumed duty in June 2007. Until now, I have worked for 14.5 years.
差不多这个管道。
It's not convenient to go out for rehabilitation on a rainy day. You can just walk at home. With this handrail, you can walk back and forth. We started to promote this home safety improvement project for the elderly in 2020.
那后来有了。
Later, the social welfare office was set up and I undertook the role of supervisor of the team. Then I began to learn how to lead my colleagues.
去带领我的同事，就是骑着摩托车，跟着师兄师姐，我们就穿梭巷弄，到处跑这样子。我们来看看你浴室扶手用的怎么样？马桶旁边装一只。 那你这样起来，
不是我那起床大便的时候坐下，起来都需要，你不方便了，咱自己没有办法。但是
现在抓比较
你抓的比较熬一点，不然的话弄不好会睡觉嘞。
你行啦，你太高背，我背楼梯还慢慢啦。
慢慢
上一次啊，你们帮我们弄那个扶手，
对，有用哈。 好，那你走过去，我们看看你用的怎么样。大小便啊，就是可以自己来。哦，
到目前为止啊，最佩服志明什么？
So far, what I admire Zhiming the most is his physical strength. One midnight, I sent him line messages, inviting him to visit a bureau chief with volunteers the other day. He immediately replied me by saying he was available to go.
马上就告诉我说，他可以这样子。他休假也在工作，因为他休假也会打电话给我们。
He even was on holiday. He would call us or send us line messages to discuss something with us. I called him shoulder brother, as he is highly responsible. He will also make me feel that if I encounter any difficulties, he would be willing to stay by my side, making me feel very secured.
阿姨，你没做，我们不敢做啊。
阿姨做，阿姨做。而且特别是平安是福哦，平安最重要了啊！祝你平安，祝你健康。
假设是他服务的个案，他的那个专业态度。
His attitude to his client, which is always professional and supportive, must be very well. Well, I considerate him a caring guy, maybe.
你真是难倒我了。他会把含泪的时间用。
He would use the complaining time to work hard. I think he's like that. Yes.
那你觉得你的部属爱你比较多，还是怕你比较多？
I think my subordinates may be afraid of me more than liking me.
那你那个个案的部分，你有改了吗？
我改了。
Because I have worked in other places before, I think he is quite mild. He also speaks gently.
I actually prefer Zhiming in the past to now, because when he first came, he was very humorous.
那他们也都知道我是处在一个高压的状态之下。
They knew that I am quite stressful in leading subordinates. Frankly speaking, I'm indeed a strict supervisor. Maybe in the workplace I have a higher standard. I also have a higher expectations and requirements on myself.
我的要求会高一些，可能我自己对于自己本身的要求、期许跟要求也比较高。
For 18 years, Lin Hongwen has been under the care of Tzu Chi volunteers. He is now a sports teacher in his alma mater. Seeing Hongwen grow up and contribute to society is the most touching reward for Tzu Chi volunteers.
洪文，来吃播会当到么？
这个很重哎。啊？这个都是考试的书。
考试哦，把你先搬出来我靠。
这很重，这很重。
OK， 先搬出来。伊要去上班，比阮这样去上班，我较欢喜。这
专任老师。
I'm going to be a full-time substitute teacher on a one-year contract. I will be teaching sports for both day and night school. Next year, I'll have to take an examination again to be the official teacher.
考正式。对，我有这个准不熟。
这这样，唔捌爬楼梯，唔知影膝盖会痛。哎呀，
如果再去搬箱。
因为我从。
I started caring for him when he was in kindergarten. It was very early. I used to have black hair, but now it's all white. After hearing that he is going to teach here, I was so happy and I couldn't fall asleep. He is now back in his alma mater.
睡不着，回他的母校啊，回的母校，对。
只有阿嬷在带我们3个长大，可是
Only my grandmother took care of 3 of us, but since she's old, we didn't have family activities during childhood. Tzu Chi aunties and uncles came in to accompany us. For us, they're like our family who live together.
家庭的陪伴者，这样陪伴我们长大，所以对我们来说，早就像家人一样在共同生活着。有一次，尝试去台北，在师姑家集合，然后什么文具想要自己挑这样，可能就那时候有拿文具，现在才有办法读书。
哎呦，你本来就是很争气的啦。
因为我们这边如果要买文具，要跑到瑞芳，对啊，小时候又不可能，阿嬷也不会搭火车。 对啊，也没有办法买文具，都是拿那个铅笔，就是削到一点点造型这样。
他在那个小时候，
when he was little and when we took him for house cleaning, he was strong enough to dig out dirt using a shovel. Now he's grown up and is very strong. He told us once that whenever we need a helper, we can always rely on him.
我说，师傅有需要打扫或者再叫我们呐。
Because I studied in other places before, I didn't return to Gongliao often. I also had to take part-time jobs on weekends to make a living. Now I graduated, I have more free time to do things I want.
那
We are at the 19th year of bringing care to him. Although we mostly call him, we still want to care for him because he no longer has parents with him.
This is the first time someone is helping me moving into a dorm. In the past, I had to do it myself in high school and college. I would send out all my luggage in the post office, normally costed around $100 NT, and collected it in front of a convenience store, and then organized everything by myself.
亲爱的师姑师伯，你们好。时间真的过得很快，从前那个小毛头洪文，现在已经长大成为一位老师，准备步入社会。师姑师伯，你们见证了我的成长，并在其中不遗余力地帮助我。我真的非常感谢你们的协助，总是让我充满能量，无后顾之忧地面对人生的挑战。
真的好棒，好期待这一天。
Bingcheng suffered from acute leukemia since 2. At the age of 7, Bingcheng received a stem cell transplant, saving his life. The donor that is helping is an electrical engineer who temporarily put his own family's plans on hold to help this child.
I always wanted to meet the lifesaver and express my thanks to him, thanking him for giving Bingcheng bone marrow, so that he can be energetic once more and be like other children having fun outside. When he was sick, he was about 2 years and 7 months old. And since we knew he had cancer and he had to undergo chemotherapy, at first we felt very uneasy.
护士就说：“哎，妈妈，你们要准备住院。”
The nurse said your child has to be hospitalized. After that, I called my sister, and in the call, I couldn't even properly speak. I thought of my husband and the older son at home. When I was in the hospital accompanying my husband, the doctor's wife helped me to look after my children. She told me to go home and bring my husband to do rehabilitation. He suddenly had a stroke and cannot talk. He even doesn't know how to write. My elder son was in the kindergarten at the time, and it's hard to look after 2 children while taking care of my husband and making 3 meals per day. From lymphatic to bone marrow, the doctor told me that my son needs to get a transplant. But the transplant comes with a high risk. I thought we still have to try it out. Seeing my child's energy improving every day, I feel very comforted.
I like to read history books because I can know more about the past.
The mother is really brave. She held up the family along the way and saved Bingcheng. Bingcheng even has good development better than I imagined.
Tzu Chi has helped me a lot. I want to thank Tzu Chi. They have allowed me to stay at the home and focus on taking care of my husband and children.
I think my donor is a guy, and he must be tall.
He must be an uncle or an older brother with a strong body.
When I was in college, around sophomore or junior year, I registered for bone marrow donation. I also have a habit of donating blood.
At the time, I was taking medicine while undergoing treatment. But because he wanted to donate bone marrow, we had to pause our treatment. He donated bone marrow at around December of 2015, and I was pregnant in January of 2016. So our seniors told me that it's the blessings from donating bone marrow that brought us our child. My first baby didn't have fetal movement, and the doctor told me that I had a miscarriage. In 2017, I was pregnant again. We had a simple thought, that is to save a life. To me, as long as he is healthy, I'm fine.
Thank you for allowing me to draw and do other things, and to also get to know friends at school.
There are many people in life helping me, and in order not to let them down, I must be stronger.
The COVID pandemic has made online learning the new normal way of learning. For children from low-income families, lack of supervision can cause their learning level to lag behind, potentially making it hard for the next generation to get out of poverty.
The COVID pandemic has greatly affected the global economy, affecting most of the residents, who are from low-income families. Of the public housing on Rifle Range, Penang, the residents here are generally not well educated, leading to different social chaos in this community. Many parents are busy with work and cannot provide proper supervision on their children's virtual learning, making their learning level far behind.
This COVID pandemic has greatly impacted these children. Because most of them are from low-income families, when their parents come home after work, they may not be able to teach their children since they don't have much knowledge. They can only urge their children to study by beating and scolding, making their kids dislike learning even more. That's why these children have poorer learning progress than their normal peers.
Malaysia's government expected to allow students to gradually return to school starting in November. However, some children cannot keep up with the progress during online learning for a long time. If they return to campus at this moment, it will inevitably affect their school life.
Not all students can stay focused on the entire online learning progress. If the teacher teaches for an hour, some children may be able to concentrate for 20 minutes only. We don't know if the students can understand what we teach, but just learn about that from the homework they return. We can't even be sure if the homework is done by the students or their parents.
Dan kita tak pasti adakah pelajar itu sendiri yang buat atau ibu bapa yang bantu.
The left behind school work has reduced the children's desire to study, making it hard for the next generation to get rid of poverty.
Ministry of Education in Malaysia has initiated since beginning of April a series of television programs under the TV Pendidikan. In some ways, it is good. It covers all the major subjects, from primary school to secondary school. The children can watch the program. Know that teaching and learning is not one way. Parents need to recognize that they have just been hired to become co-teachers. In the past, parents can just send their children to school and expect the teachers to do everything.
Whether children come from impoverished or well-off families, they should all have the same educational opportunities. These children need more help and attention from society so that they can change their destiny with knowledge.
Tzu Chi organized online tuition for students from Penang Rifle Range Elementary School so that children from low-income families can have more opportunities to learn after school. 10 volunteer teachers from University Sains Malaysia also helped to achieve this project.
Starting in June 2019, Tzu Chi has provided free one-on-one tuition classes for students from Rifle Range Elementary in Penang so that this group of children from low-income families can have more chances to learn after school. However, when the novel coronavirus hit Malaysia in March 2020, the government implemented a movement control order, forcing schools to close and tuition classes to suspend. Volunteers changed the tuition classes into virtual ones, hoping to let these students catch up with their academic progress before class resumes in November.
Because classes has been suspended for too long, so we thought of making tuition classes online. Because in Taiwan and other places, online tuition has received a very good feedback. So we want to provide an opportunity for the children who are left behind in their study to join our tutoring.
The tuition class was held in the cloud for the first time, with the help of 10 students from the University Sains Malaysia.
My cousins who are also B40, they didn't get the opportunity to go to tuition. They are lacking in studies. When I see my students, they are so eager to study, but maybe they don't have the opportunity to hire teachers, right? Or go to tuition, something like that. So I guess this is one way to help them.
Online courses are the new normal way of learning, and teaching is no longer dual. Teachers can make learning fun through games or videos.
In the beginning, that boy was quite cool, without any facial expression. Then I suggested to play a small game about math. He became very happy. So I will play some games with the kids after my teaching to consolidate their learning.
Can you open your camera?
Lam Xiu-ing, who is in the third year of special education, encountered a difficult student when she taught in class for the first time. But for her, this kind of practical experience will definitely be valuable for her to officially teach in the future.
If it's at school, as you will talk to him face to face, he may not neglect you. But if it's a virtual class, he can just turn off the microphone or camera straight away. You can't do anything but to discuss with his parents how to deal with him. After all, special education requires more patience and attention.
I like the online English tuition class. It can enhance my understanding in English.
I like to take online tuition class because I can learn. I want to improve my English.
Teaching ways must keep pace with the times and make good use of information and communication technology to improve the quality of learning, so as to make learning no longer boring.
Tzu Chi Malaysia chapter hosted an online seminar with other Tzu Chi volunteers where they talked about the values of vegetarianism, how to further promote this value to more people in the community.
To further promote vegetarianism, the Malaysia Tzu Chi chapter has invited volunteers and dietitians to give a talk on the subject online.
If you look at this list, you can see that I have highlighted some days in green. That means there are 3 days in a week where we will be meat-free. We can use eggs or high calcium plant protein as a replacement.
If we provide vegetarian lunches for them, how long can it last? 1 month? 2 or 3? What happens when we stop providing the meals for them? How do we encourage them to continue the diet? We started with teaching them how to make vegetarian food. If they want to buy their own groceries, we help them, as long as they pick out vegetarian items.
With the plan in action and the tools to make it happen, achieving the goal of gathering more like-minded people is easier when there is a website.
We have made the donation box a virtual one, which can reach more corners. We made a website to gather people, similar to a check and point for blessings and wisdom. It's a place of love, a place of charity where anyone can join whenever they have the time.
投入在这个网站里面。个人的劝助目标从劝1个人开始，到108人，到户。
My personal goal started with influencing 1 person to influencing 108 people to an infinite number. The goal for all of Malaysia began with 1,013 meals to 100,000 to now infinite meals. We hope this goal can be reached before the year-end blessing ceremony of 2021, which I believe is doable to at least achieve 100,000 meals.
晚餐，我想这个是可以达到的。
Gathering the strength to protect all sentient beings, it is hoped that this can help put an end to the pandemic soon.
An 8-year-old girl surnamed Zhang is the youngest person injured in a recent Kaohsiung building fire. Her and her mother are still receiving treatment in the hospital, as many from her school are helping her with school supplies as well as look for a new place to live. Leave you with these images. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.